welcome to SK Roundtable. I'm your host, Terrence Calvin, and my guests for me today, Shannon Mackie and Caitlin Trueman. We'll be back to discuss our topic in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
Last day.
Paper's right.
Hello, we're back with SK Roundtable. Our discussion today is a distinction between a state of war and a state of peace. It's become increasingly blurred. Terrorism. Let's speak to Shannon Mackie and listen to his opening statements on terrorism.
Well, I think
Shannon.
that rather than stooping to terrorism itself, I think the United States, speaking of the United States, for the United States, that we shouldn't have to use force. Like Mr. Reagan said yesterday, we're like Mount Everest. Everybody wants to climb it, you know, and we're just, it's because we're there. We're in one of the biggest countries, you know. And I think we should try to use law, you know.
You would like to wait it out.
Justify, yeah.
Wait out if terrorism happens and there's hostages. You'd like to wait out.
Try not to use force.
And use reason. Yeah. Reason with the terrorists.
You know, there's this point, but.
Caitlin, your view?
Thank you, Terry. I think it's time we retaliated with force against terrorism. If we don't, more U.S. citizens will be kidnapped and killed. We have to make a show of strength. This is the only way to fight terrorism. Terrorists are willing to sacrifice anyone in order to attain their objectives. They don't care who they kill. It's for this reason that we have to use force. It's the only thing that terrorists respect and understand.
Thank you, Caitlin, and thank you, Shannon. We'll be back after this break to discuss more on terrorism. With Roundtable, and we'll begin our discussion with Caitlin Trueman. So let's begin.
Thanks, Terry. Tragically, the USA's traditional passive and defensive approach to the problem of terrorism has proved to be ineffective. Strong declaratory policy, anti-terrorism legislation, upgrading security at the U.S. embassies, invoking international law, making diplomatic representations, and taking action at the United Nations are inadequate in persuading sponsor states from halting direct and indirect support of terrorism. Clearly, this passive policy should be supplemented by a new and more aggressive counterterrorism program, consisting both of non-military and military options. I feel military options should be stressed here, Shannon. Trade embargoes and even blockades against countries harboring terrorists or engaging in terrorist activities could be effective in stopping terrorism. A proactive policy should also include paramilitary and military preemptive and retaliatory strikes against known terrorist bases. I think that using military force is the only way to stop these people, because nothing so far has worked. And Ronald Reagan keeps saying that, you know, that we should be militaristic and everything, but he hasn't really come out and done that.
What about the lives of the people? If there is hostages or if they threaten lives of people and you force them.
It's just a few people. We've got to show the terrorists we're tough here. Never mind the hostages. You're thinking like the terrorists now. Oh, you know, they won't hurt the hostages. They don't want to hurt them. Well, we've got to turn around and show them that we will do anything to stop them.
Thank you, Caitlin. Shannon, do you have anything to respond to what Caitlin has?
Well, I disagree on Mr. Reagan not doing anything, or we haven't been able to get. Well, I have some examples. What I'm trying to say, that cruise ship, the Chile L'Oreal or whatever that was.
Chile L'Oreal.
There we go. Yeah, when the Palestine, it was part of the Palestinian government. There's 4 thugs, as they said. Well, I have a quote here too. It says that rather than stooping to terrorism itself, the United States is right to rely on the rule of law. Those who traffic in violence, like the terrorists who killed an Arab American in California on Friday, we shouldn't stoop to, you know, killing doesn't make that right, you know, killing like they proposed they were going to do. And we have some examples of using non-force. Look at the hostages in Iran. We didn't kill anybody, or, you know, they didn't kill.
And they were there for a
Nobody
year.
died. Okay, yeah, they were there for a year. But
Think of the emotional trauma these people suffered.
Would you rather them die, you know?
Yeah, maybe
You'd rather them die?
Yeah,
Family.
Shannon, hear me out. Maybe if those people had died then, it could have put an end to all the terrorism that we're seeing now. It could have prevented it.
No,
Terrorists
no.
would have thought, oh, they were bombed back then, we won't get away with it. Think about it. It could have worked.
Okay, I'm going to bring this back again. We're United States. We're one of the biggest countries in the world. As long as we're there, there's always going to be terrorism.
And we're weenies,
Like
let's face it. Everyone knows that the USA will not harm them if they hold hostages.
If we hurt somebody, then that just makes us bad guys, you know?
And not if they're the bad guys.
Shannon's putting the point that we are the savior of all the world.
Oh,
so
yes,
we're trying
we have to set an example, right?
Yes, we have to set an example, but we also have to be forceful, is what you're saying.
Exactly. We can't just put up with this terrorism. It's disgusting. People know that we will not do anything if they hold our citizens hostage.
Well, what I'm saying is you can't end it, so why kill people? I mean, you're just going to keep killing people every time terrorism, you know? You can't say that, because people are there's always going to be terrorism as long as there's life, you know.
Yes, that is true. Well, thank you very much. We'll be right back after this messages, and we will we'll discuss some different points of view on terrorism. Please stay tuned.